Batters, we are so back. Yes, Shunguang has been buffed by over 30%. That's right. In addition to this, they also dramatically simplified her gameplay and made some changes. Hey, have you ever used a top-up website? Let me tell you about a brand new one. This is Eneba. Thank you very much to Eneba for sponsoring today's video. It is a fantastic top-up service for all of your gacha games. And the selling point, 10% cash back, additional discounts. Sometimes they even run promotions for up to 30% cash back. It's crazy. Basically, if you're not using Eneba, you're losing out, and you really have to try it. You know what else is cool about Eneba? It has more than just gacha games. You can get your Steam games on Eneba with my link in the description down below. Save on gacha, save on normal games, save money, play harder. Eneba. Let's talk about what's changed, and then we'll talk about what her gameplay looks like. So I have a TLDR for the changes. They moved her crit rate passive to her EX special. What does this mean? It means you don't hold the basic. Hold basic, gone. Her rotation in sword stance has been dramatically simplified. Previously, there was a combo where you alternated pressing basic and special. No, that's gone. We don't do that here anymore. New combo, hold special, press ultimate. Boom, profit. We have anti-Banwei. Congratulations. They have made the complete inverse of Banwei. Also, they gave you a reason to use the alternate ultimate, the thing that everyone wanted. You can now press ultimate in sword stance, and it's free. What does this mean? Every time you enter sword stance, she can bail on sword stance by pressing ultimate. This is a finisher. I don't know if it plays the Sky Slash animation, but it might. Additionally, they moved the sword intent cap from 4 to 6. Because we are now holding special, they have dramatically nerfed Brimstone, but they also made her S rank engine better. It gives less damage bonus, but it now gives 20% red shred instead of 15% pen. That engine buffed. Another really big change is entering the sword stance just requires having 6 sword intent, which is generated from her EX special, her basic attacks, and teammates opening the veil. When you have 6 sword intent, you can hold basic, or you can use a quick assist to enter the sword stance. Now, notice how there are ways to enter the sword stance that are not using your ultimate, that do not require using a teammate ether veil. You are technically less dependent on Zhao. If you refuse to play the Labubu, you can play your Yes Shunguang. I don't think Astra's better than Zhao, but it's an option now. It's a real option. That also means we can look at Seed again. We'll get to it when we talk about teams. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna try to do more Zenless content. More Genshin content is coming. Did you know most of you watching are not currently subscribed? You should subscribe. Additionally, speaking of teams, they fixed stun multiplier interaction. It is still currently base 150, which is dependent on enemy, but now you can benefit from stun damage multiplier. So you can benefit from the 30% from Dailin, you can benefit from Trigger, you can benefit from Qingyi. There is currently still a bug, which is teammate attacks reduce this while Yes Shunguang is attacking. That is a bug that will hopefully get fixed, probably. If it's not a bug, they should probably update the description. We'll see what happens with that, but gotta mention it. Yeah, that is what's changed. So, reiterating, this is what her new gameplay is. Outside of the sword state, you're gonna basic attack, you're gonna use EX, and you're gonna put up teammate veils till you have 6 sword intent. Once you have 6 sword intent, we're gonna enter the sword stance. We can also enter the sword stance by using her ultimate. So when you can use your ultimate, you still will. This is the value of Dailin. When we are in the sword stance, when we are M0, we are going to hold special. We're gonna hold special. We're gonna get a snack. We're gonna watch some TV, maybe scroll on TikTok while she's attacking. You know the drill. she plays herself now. After that, we're either going to do some basic attacks or we're just going to bail with the ultimate. We're not really doing that much damage anyway. Might as well start accumulating more resources to do it again. Yes, you can play this character one-handed. That's not a joke. It's really not a joke. You can play this character with one hand. Now, you'll notice I said at M0. We're going to talk about M1 and M2. This is not something I normally do. M1 doubles her core bonus. Her core bonus also technically got buffed. Doesn't matter. It went from 40% to 60% max. Don't worry about it. Her M1 doubles that gain, so it goes from 60% to 120%, and she will enter combat with 6 sword intent. Entering combat with 6 sword intent allows you to instantly enter the sword stance. It's daily farming stuff, same as Isha and M1. Yeah, the M2. Useful for farming, but not that useful practically. But 60 damage bonus. 60 damage bonus is quite good. 60 damage bonus is quite good. Her M2 gives her a new resource called Harmony as she consumes Sword Will, or Sword Intent, and Harmony can be consumed by her EX special. So we're going to use her basic attacks in her sword stance with M2. She consumes 6 Sword Intent. After we do all of the basic attacks to consume Sword Intent with M2, we're going to hold special and then ultimate. So the damage gain from M2 is now in the basic attacks that you're adding to your combo and your uptime. That is what our M2 currently does now. It's quite good. It is not nearly as flashy, but it still does have an aspect of gameplay that you're not getting otherwise. So, I'm okay with it. She currently doesn't have an M6, so we don't even need to worry about it. Her M4 replaces her entry attack with a chain attack. That's quite good. Now, teams. Yeah, we're not as dependent on Zhao. We can look at Zhao-less teams. But quickly, let's talk about the Zhao teams. Dylan Zhao, Astra Zhao, Seed Zhao. Same as before, but here are the Zhao-less options. Dylan Astra, Dylan Seed, Seed Astra. Whoa. If you do not have Astra, you can of course use anyone else. You should hopefully have Zhao anyway. You know who's a great Astra substitute? Zhao. You can still use the Labubu anyway. You probably still want to use the Labubu. Zhao is probably still optimal. Probably. Labubu on top. My boy Labubu, we're gonna steal a picnic basket. Now, what else can I say? What do I think about these changes? The dramatic simplification of her combo screams to me like this is a reaction to people's impression of Banwei internally. It's very interesting. There will be a Banwei video coming. I'm not sure how. I want to be positive. I really do want to be positive, but I understand people's frustration about a character that is hard to play being worse than characters that are easy to play. It feels very similar to Harumasa. Granted, Banwei is not as bad as Harumasa was. Banwei is significantly better. But I do understand the frustration at the concept of him potentially being worse than Itari. I want to ease people's concerns about this a little bit. Trust me, you can still be happy with Banwei. He's still quite good. Don't worry, he's not bad. But he is complicated in a kind of obnoxious way. And yes, Shunguang's changes feel like a reaction to that, which is really interesting. This also means that Yes Shunguang has very little skill expression now, because her damage is essentially fixed in place. That will make her threshold dependent, because there's no execution difference. You're just holding special. Or I shouldn't say no. Very little execution difference, because you will just be holding special. We'll see if they change that to make her more complicated, or if I'm missing something in this TLDR. But yeah, that is what is up with the changes. And yeah, Yes Shunguang is in a much better place than she was before. Ba-boom!